Hi all, welcome to Security and Privacy in Cloud, which is handled by myself, Lavanya, Assistant Professor of CSE Department. So here the Unit 1 comprises of fundamentals of cloud security concepts, and here we are going to see the subtopic of overview of cloud security and security services. The notable cloud launches which is used is that for desktop and business application, they are using the Zoho and Google, which are the cloud application. And second is that Windows Azure, Google, Salesforce, and these comes under the software platform to host cloud-based enterprise application, and that is the cloud software development platform. And third is that Amazon Web Services, that is IBM, and Rockspace and Sun Microsoft Systems, and these comes under the cloud-based infrastructure. So these are some of the common used cloud services. Next topic is that introduction to cloud security. So before that, let's see about what is meant by cloud computing. We all know that cloud computing is the delivery of hosted services, including software, hardware, and storage over the internet. The benefits include the rapid deployment, flexibility, low upfront cost, and scalability. That has made cloud computing virtually universal among the organizations of all sizes, often as part of a hybrid or multi-cloud infrastructure architecture. Here, the definition they have given for cloud security is that protecting data, application, and infrastructure in cloud environments. And it also refers to the technologies, policies, control, and services that protect the cloud data, applications, and infrastructure from various threats. The importance is that it safeguards against data breaches, data loss, and compliance risk. The next slide, which is a major thing, is that key challenges in cloud security. So the first thing is that shared responsibility model. Second one, data breaches and leaks. Third one, misconfigured cloud services. Fourth one, lack of visibility and control. So first one, what is meant by shared responsibility and model? So what is meant by shared responsibility is that here it defines security roles between the cloud providers, like it can be of AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and so on. And the cloud provider's responsibility is that security of the cloud, like physical security, like data center, and network and infrastructure security, hypervisor and virtualization security, and compliance certifications. And if we take in terms of cloud responsibilities from the customer, they include the data protection against the encryption and backup, and the identity and access management and application security and configuring security settings. These all comes under the shared responsibility model. And second one, if you take, is data breaches and leaks. So what is meant by data breach is nothing but which occurs when an unauthorized users access sensitive data, which may lead to loss of sensitive information. Say, for example, if the customer records or the bank credential, they are taking from the unauthorized person, that all comes under the data breaches. And the second is that compliance violation, like example, HIPAA, GDPR, which we'll be seeing in the upcoming slides. And third is that financial and reputational damages. So the major causes, if you take it, goes for weak access control, unencrypted data, and insider threats and cloud misconfigurations. So these all comes under the major leaks. And for preventing them, you can go for like implement strong access control, and you can go for the encryption for data at rest, and you can transmit. And for monitoring and regular audit the logos with SIEM solutions, we can able to overcome these kind of challenges. And third is that the misconfigured cloud services. So it may result like misconfigured, such as publicly exposing the S3 buckets or the blob storage from the AWS server or the from various services, and weak firewall rules, excessive identity access management permission, So example is that if you're going for unprotected database instance, say for example MongoDB, RDS. So these all comes under misconfigured cloud services. And the last one is that the lack of visibility and control. So lack of visibility and control is nothing but organization often struggle, to monitor the cloud security due to multi-cloud complexity, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and Shadow IT and limited monitoring tools. To overcome these kind of strategies, you can go for like cloud security posture management, enable cloud logging and monitoring, and you can implement zero trust architecture, just used to say as ZTA. By means of that, we can able to overcome these kind of challenges. And next is that we are going to see is about security services in cloud computing. So the first one is that IAM. So IAM is nothing but identity and access management. So what is meant by identity and access management? So IAM, it is a framework for managing who can access and what in a cloud environment. It ensures that only authorized users and services can interact with the resources. And second one is that if you take the component, access control policies will be like able to define the role-based access control and attribute-based access control. And multi-factor authentication like adds an extra layer for security beyond password. And we can able to implement least privilege principle, which provides a minimum permissions which is needed. And second is that data protection, third one network security, and the fourth one threat detection and response, which we'll see in the upcoming slides one by one in detail. So first one is that identity and access management. Here it mainly uses to manage user identity and control access to the resources. So here if you take, so it can be of resources like features. What are the features available is that multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, and then single sign-on authentication. So these all comes under the identity access management. As I told earlier, here you can able to see this by means of this diagram. This is the overall architecture for the IAM, and here you can able to pick these are the user group as well as the permission which is provided based on the federation. And second is that by means of authentication management services, access management services, we can able to provide users, groups, and roles for that particular permission. And third is that the user management and the data management, which provides the actual flows which are acting as a professional for manually, and we can able to automate by means of multi-factor authentication. And the last one is that authorization management. And here we can able to see the authorized model and at last, while after authorizing, we can able to monitor the services, audit the services, and we can able to report the services. So this is the overall architecture of the IAM. And next slide is that data protection services. So what does it mean by data protection? Is nothing but here we'll be using some, we have to ensure such as confidentiality, integrity, and availability of cloud data. It prevents some unauthorized access, loss, and corruption. So here, the data encryption is nothing but encrypting the data at rest and in transit. What is my data loss prevention is nothing but monitoring and data exfiltration. So if you take the encryption strategies, like if you're using AWS, KMS, Azure Keyword, you have to encrypt the stored data. If you're going for in transit, or you can go for like TL, what is that, TLS or SSL they used to say. Uh, so these kind of for securing the data transfer, you can opt for that particular thing. So they used to say as a TLS. So I'm just writing here, you can just note it down. that is TLS, or they used to say as a SSL for securing by means of data encryption. SSL they used to say. Okay, and we can regularly back up the critical data, and we can implement by means of geo redundant storage. And what is the data prevention is that we can monitor the file sharing and unusual access the pattern. For the to protect the services, in order we can use some strong encryption like AES or DES method. We can able to automate the backup policy, you know, and we can able to classify and tag the sensitive data for better control. Yes, so these are about data protection services. Next is that network security services. So here you'll be seeing the firewall, a VPN, and microsegmentation. So what is meant by network security is nothing but we have to protect the cloud infrastructure from various cyber threats, which is the real world scenario. If you take, there are so many cyber threats like DDoS attack, unauthorized access, and data breaches. So in order to control, we can go for the firewall. So the firewall is nothing but we can be able to control by means of inbound or outbound traffic. Example, the AWS security group or Azure NSG, you can go for it. And second one, virtual private network. For that, you can go for like virtual, what is that? Private cloud isolated resources with private subnets. If you are using in the sense, it will be automatically secure. And third one is that micro segmentation. So here micro segmentation is nothing but so based on the various protecting against various attacks like distributed denial of service attack, zero trust architecture, and can able to isolate the workloads for added security. So if you are separating the workload in the sense, automatically the threats will not be attacking your particular services. So these all comes under micro segmentation. Here you can use like VPS peering and monitor the traffic with SIEM tools. Example is that Google Cloud Armor, Azure Firewall, and so on. And next one is that application security services. So what does mean by application security services? So here we'll be seeing, okay, so here we'll be using some web application firewall and like protecting the web apps from various attacks. Say for example, if you're going for the bank website in the sense, you'll be using some HTTPS, right? So to secure that type of website, we can go for these kind of webs application firewall. And second one, code analysis tool. Like code analysis tool is nothing but like we can identify the vulnerability elements of an application code, and we can able to secure by means of various cryptographic algorithms. And next, you're going to see is about threat detection and response. So here, if you take, we'll be using some various security information event management SIEM, which is used for centralized threat monitoring. And next one is that intrusion detection and prevention system. That is IDPS for detecting and blocking malicious activity. So these all comes under for threat detection. And so we'll see one by one in the upcoming slide. And next one is that compliance and governance services. So here we can go for various cloud audits, ensure the compliance with the standard like GDPR, HIP, AA, etc. All those things comes under. Like, and I have to use some various AWS configuration, AWS audit manager for automating compliance reporting. And another thing, if you take in Microsoft Azure also, there is some Azure policy and Azure Security Center. So Azure policy, if you take, they'll be using automated compliance checks and for enforcing various policies. And similar to that, if you take in Google Cloud Security also, they'll be using some Google Azure workload and 4T security. That is a open source security which is used for auditing and so on. So these all comes under compliances and governance services. And okay, so here we are going to see is about security automation and AI. So what is meant by cloud security? You know, it's more automated and AI driven to handle threat detection, compliance, and security enforcement efficiently. And here the first one, automation tools that is used in reducing human error, improving efficiency, and ensuring continuous security compliances. And if you take the automation use cases, the first one is that we can automatically revoke the unused IAM permission, and we can enforce the least privilege policies. Example, if you take like AWS IAM access analyzer. And next one is that security configuration management, which comes under automation tool. Here you'll be using CSPM, Cloud Security Posture Management tool, which is used for scanning for misconfiguration. And the next use case is that instant response automation. Like we can go for like auto remedy security incident example like IP quarantine infected missions. Example, if you go in AWS Amazon, Lambda function will be there that is used for security. And next is that if you take like compliances and the policy enforcement, so that you can go for like various automate the compliance monitoring through CIS benchmark and NIST. And the best practice that is used is that infrastructure as a code, and we can go for automated patching, and we can able to enable the security playbook. Example for automation tool is that AWS Lambda, Azure Policy, and Google Foresti Security. And next automation is that we are going to see is about AI and machine learning. So AI and machine learning, we already know that is artificial intelligence and machine learning that is used for predict and detect the threats in a real-time situation. And here that is used for various amount of vast security data and identifying threats faster than the traditional methods. So example is that like AWS Guard Duty, Azure Sentinel, and for if you take for behavior analytics, you can go for it which the user and entity behavior can able to detect the insider threats. An example is that Microsoft Defender for cloud is there, and for automated malware detection, we can go for like AI-based malware scanners. Example is that Virus Total and Google Chronicle. And next is that for phishing and fraud detection, like we can able to detect the fraudulent activities in mail transaction and authentication request. And here, like the common AI-powered security tools is that AWS Guard Duty, Microsoft Sentinel, and Google Chronicle. And if you take the overall view, it's that you can able to detect the real-time threats and anomalies. So that is all about the security automation and AI. And next is that Google security providers. So Google security providers, if you take first one, AWS security services, second one, Microsoft Azure security, and third one, Google Cloud security. We will see one by one. So first one, AWS security services, which is offered by Amazon. And here for identity and access management, they are using AWS IAM and AWS Cognito, which is used for managing user roles and permission and used for securing authentication for apps. And second one, Microsoft Azure security, that is used for so many things like AWS SIE tool, which is used for compliance and governance and network security and data protection and encryption. And this is a key management for encryption and AI driven sensitive data and for security. Yes. And next one is that Microsoft Azure security. Here we'll be using some built-in security tools that is used to detect threats, enforce the compliance, and security cloud resources. And here we'll be using Azure AD, that is Active Directory, which is used to manage users and single sign-on, that is SSO. And for threat and detection and monitoring, Microsoft Defender for cloud, that is AI-driven threat protection. And for Azure Sentinel, there is a cloud-native SIEM for security analytics. And for network security, there are so many firewalls. You'll be using Azure Firewall, Azure DDoS protection. This protects against the DDoS attacks. And for data protection, they'll be going for like Azure Key Vault and which is used to manage and store the encryption key. And Azure information protection is that it is used for protection and classify the sensitive data, and which is used to enable conditional access policies in Azure AD. And you can able to go for Azure Sentinel, which is a proactive threat detection, and you can able to implement role-based access control, that is RBAC. And third one is that Google Cloud Security. So Google Cloud Security here it comes under which is focuses on AI-driven security, data protection, and zero trust architecture. And here it uses Google Cloud IAM, which is used to manage the access control, and beyond COP, there is zero trust, the secure access without VPN, virtual private network, and similar to that for threat detection and monitoring, we'll be using some, and here they'll be going for some Google Cloud Security. As usual, if you take the Google Cloud Security in the sense, it often goes for various data protection like Google Cloud KMS, Google DLP, that is data loss prevention. Okay, and next one said the overall thing. These are the cloud services providers. And the next one is that best practices which is used for cloud security is that first one, which enables strong authentication, regular monitor and audit configuration, and you can able to implement the least privilege access and backup data regularly. Let's see one by one. So first one, enable strong authentication. So why we have to authenticate strongly in that sense we can be able to prevent unauthorized access to cloud resources. Like various authentication strategies like multi-factor authentication, which requires multiple verification steps, and single sign-on is nothing but SSO, that is centralized authentication for all cloud services. And the third one is that password policy, which can enforce strong password rules and for to configure the length, complexity, and expiration, and biometric or token-based authentication, which is used for fingerprint and facial recognition and security tokens like YubiKey. You can go for it. And for a zero trust security model, you can always verify the identity. Example is that AWS IAM with MFA, Azure Active Directory, Google Cloud IAM. And second one is that regular monitor and audit configuration. For regular audit and configuration, you can helps in detect security misconfiguration and compliance violation. Here you can go for like various enable cloud logging and monitoring, use security information and event management tools, that is SIEM, and set up the automated alerts, that is notify the admins of unauthorized access or changes. And third one is that can able to ensure security settings which follows us the various best practices which is implemented in the real time. Example is that AWS Cloud Trial, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and then Security Command Center. Okay, and next one is then implement the least privilege access. So least privilege access is nothing but RBAC, that is role-based access control. We can able to assign permissions based on the job rules. And second one, attribute-based access control like ABAC, which is a contextual attribute, which is used to detect location, exact device, and the time they are using. We can able to use some temporary credential. We can able to avoid long-term access key, and we can able to regularly review permissions like revoke unnecessary privileges like Azure or BAC privilege identity management, Google Cloud IAM. We can go for it. And last one is that backup data regularly. So here we can able to protect against access deletion, ransomware, and system failure. So we can able to automate the cloud backup. We have to schedule it regularly backups. We have to follow some 3-to-1 backup rule. Like keep 3 copies of data to different media with 1 offsite copy. So this is called as 3 to 1 backup rule. This might it may be a somewhat tedious, but it's a very usual way, just followed in industry. And it says that retain the older version of files for recovery. So once it is used is that we have to retype it. And next one is that regularly verify that backups can be restored successfully. So that is called as test backup restoration. Examples that AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So these all comes under the best practices which is used in cloud security. So thank you. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for day. Have a nice day.